Geek Citadel.
Two lives collide in the latest addition to the long-running Tales series. Milla Maxwell is a legendary spirit in human form with a mission to take Spyrix weapons out of the hands of humanity. Jude, on the other hand, is a young man with a promising future in the medical world. His skills in the medical arts has catapulted him to the top of his class, and gives him an edge over other students. The two meet under circumstances that would change both of their lives, forever.
That's strange. What part of keep quiet didn't you understand?
Jude's life has gone from a promising career as a doctor to a wanted criminal, and it's all thanks to his need to help Milla achieve her goal.
Jude Mathis, I have a warrant for your arrest.
His entire life was ruled by his education, and he only learned how to fight because he was bullied as a youth. His new trial is to discover what sort of man he is and become stronger so that he can think of a way to live that does not involve violence. Milla has lost her ability to summon the spirits that helped her through life. They designed her clothes, nourished, and even protected her, but now they are gone and she has to complete her difficult task on her own. She depended on the four great spirits for everything, so she must come to terms with her own limitations as a human and train herself to complete her mission. She will have to adapt to human emotions and allow her Vulcan-like demeanor to crumble away, so that she can truly understand what life is.
I quite enjoy ingesting calories with you. Humans should learn to cherish these simple pleasures.
Jude and Milla will travel around the world with a bounty hunter named Alvin. He's a happy-go-lucky character who acts as a mentor to Jude and a humanity guide for Milla. He's incredibly knowledgeable and highly mysterious, and quite possibly the best character in the title. He takes on the lovable rogue mantle and wears it with pride. The story is straightforward at first, but as the band of adventurers become familiar with each other, a slew of twists and turns arise. The growth of the group is the draw of the title. Observing Jude as he grows into manhood through his do-gooder decisions, and as Milla comes to terms with her newfound vulnerability while trying to remain the protector of humanity. One of my issues with Tales of Grace's F was the stark differences between the storyline and the skit system. Xillia rectifies this by balancing the skit comedy and the seriousness of the storyline.
I've read about child-parent relationships. There's something called an Oedipus complex.
I'm pretty sure that's not it.
Ah, so yours is more of the scheming, backstabbing sort of family?
The comedy never gets too outrageous, and neither does the drama of the story itself. This nice balance heightens the constant relationship difficulties of the party. The Tales series has always had a great fighting system, and Xillia looks to expand that by adding in new strategic elements. Much like Persona, enemies are strong and weak against certain elemental attacks. Each hero has an element attached to certain skills, so players must learn to balance attacks properly for optimal combat. This component ties into the new linking system that tethers the characters together. Each character can team up to support another in battle, offering boons like TP increases or offensive techniques like binding enemies to the ground. Holding down R1 will open up the panel to show the weaknesses and strengths of the enemies on the battlefield. Players will also learn what partner works best for the opponent currently targeted. This is where the in-combat switching will come in handy, allowing players to swap in sideline characters for optimal battle effectiveness. It functions as a proper way to keep all characters actively played as opposed to letting them rot at home base. The only problem I had with the combat was the need for the control character to attack empty air even when locked onto enemies. This even occurs if you adjust the analog stick to the proper direction while you are still pressing buttons. You have to release the buttons and turn the character around to initiate combat with an already selected target. It makes no sense, and it can be especially upsetting versus flying enemies or during the arena battles. What would the battle system be if players were not allowed a plethora of quests and reasons to explore? The mini-quests allow players to strike out and seek powerful monsters for gold, glory, and unique cosmetic items. Jude and his friends can equip cool trinkets like aviators, dog noses, and bunny ears. This cosmetic boost is an amusing addition, and it is a noble attempt to bring customization to the Tales series after all these years. I would prefer if the clothes would change with new armor, but at least we're taking baby steps here. Players can head to shops to buy weapons, items, food, and more, but the items won't change unless you are willing to help expand the inventory. This is accomplished by supplying shopkeepers with gold or heading out into the wilderness and finding resources. The rarer the resource gathered, the better the chance of increasing the level of the shops. Consistently expanding your items via exploration is both addicting and enticing. Anyone looking for a world map will be slightly disappointed, but the streamlined travel system will wipe away all those tears. A simple map displays each location that Jude and Miller's band of friends have been to. Selecting a location will instantly fast-track the group to an area within a matter of seconds. It's much easier than having to backtrack through the large map sectors. The Lilium Orb system will look familiar to fans of the Final Fantasy series. It looks like the sphere grid from Final Fantasy X, but Xillia allows a little more control over the skill selections. The system allows players to link together different stats like dexterity and strength to unlock different combos and skills. As the orb expands, it will spawn 3 other orbs with more abilities to make Milla and the gang even stronger. It can get a little overwhelming with 6 characters to upgrade, but luckily there's an auto level up system in place. Xillia's environments are vast, colorful, and slightly undercooked for the power of the PS3. The character models are similar to previous titles, but the animations are stiff and enemies and objects pop into view. It looks like a refined PS2 title when compared to a game like Ni no Kuni. The voiceover works well, with Milla being the only true weak link, but her lackluster delivery and monotone voice matches the character even if it doesn't feel like a great performance.
Let me see. How should I put this? You're annoying.
The rest of the cast is great, but the standouts are Jude, Tipo, and Alvin, who are voiced by Persona 4 alumni Matthew Mercer, Aaron Fitzgerald, and Sam Riegel.
It was? My first kiss was stolen by Jude?
Stolen? That should be my line. I can't believe I'm having this conversation with a puppet.
Don't be coy, Jude. You have to take responsibility. Oh, Jude.
Responsibility? Responsibility for what?
The music is standard fare for the genre, with nothing particularly standing out about the melodies.
Pretty strong there, buddy.
Thanks, I think so too.
You're starting to make us look bad.
Huh?
No, just saying how reliable you are.
On top of the wealth of quests, titles, and collectibles, you can beat the game and play again as Milla or Jude. The difference lies in what they experience when they are separated during gameplay. It's a nice way to get players to come back for more and learn different aspects of the characters' personalities. Tales of Xillia receives 4 stars out of 5. It takes an interesting group of characters and propels them down a waterslide of twists and turns. The tactical nature of the combat is a nice addition, and the wealth of side content can keep players engaged for hours. Here's hoping that Namco Bandai is nice enough to give us Tales of Xillia too.
Hey Alvin, why is Tipo always talking about bazongas? What does that even mean?
Oh, he finally asks. It seems you're ready to take the first steps towards becoming a man.
Why do you have to make everything so weird? Forget I even asked.
Bazongas are the burning fire at the heart of manhood.
Rowan?
Jude, there are times to play it cool, but a man who fears his own passions is no man at all.
Yes, exactly what I was trying to say.
I'm not even sure I know what we're talking about.
Then you will never know bazongas. You have to want it, Jude. You have to need it.
Then teach me about bazongas.
I can barely hear you. You have to mean it.
Teach me about bazongas!
Whoa! Don't go shouting things like that!
Don't scold him, Leia. I read about this in a book. It's called Puberty. We're supposed to be understanding and supportive.
Don't hate us.
There's no shame in being burned by the fire of manhood.